Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Gracie Jones, a graduate student and intern for the University of Louisville Women's Center. Today on July 24th, 2024, I'm with Sharon Hamilton Stovall and her granddaughter, Riece Hamilton, who are here to partake in the Grandmother Power Oral History Project. The goal of this project is to give a voice to our elders, capturing their memories, experiences, and wisdom through the art of storytelling. These cherished moments not only preserve valuable history, but also create a deeper connection between generations. In this conversation, we'll hear firsthand how the bond between grandmother and grandchild shapes their lives and how the stories passed down can have a lasting impact on both young and old. Thank you for joining us in this beautiful celebration of family history and the incredible power of stories. So to get started, if you could just both state your name, pronouns, and some of your social identities. So that would be female, you know, whatever social identity that you identify with.
Okay. Go.
Me? Okay. My name's Riece Hamilton, and she, her, hers, pronouns. I am Black. I am woman. I am childless by choice. I am 35. I'll be 35 in August. So I'm a millennial.
My name is Sharon Hamilton Stovall. I'm Riece's grandmother. I'm 75 years old. I'm Black. I'm retired, and I'm frustrated with what's going on in the world today.
Your identity is frustrating.
Frustration.
So is Riece your only grandchild, or how many do you have?
I'm the most important one.
Oh. How many grandchildren do you have?
23.
23. Do you have any great grandchildren?
23.
We
figured
counted it out.
And what is the age range of those grandchildren?
The grandchildren, I guess Khalil's the oldest, so 40 to.
God, it was
Who would
last.
be the youngest?
Is DJ the youngest? No, Jory Lumon.
Lil' the youngest. So 40 to 12. No, he's older than 12.
Yeah.
40 to 15.
Thank you. And can you kind of paint a picture of your relationship with the ones you're close with, or your relationship with Riece, and talk about that a little bit for me?
She's special. Let me put it like that. She's special. I helped raise Riece, try to instill values that she could use throughout life. She never wanted to be in trouble, unlike some of the other ones. But I think a couple of times I had to correct her physically because I'm not one of them type grandmothers that don't believe in spanking. And but we have a good rapport.
They call me her mini me.
Mini me, yeah.
I look like she looked
At her age.
Yeah.
So this is how you're gonna look when you get 75.
Looks good.
Where did you grow up, and how did your upbringing shape your values and beliefs?
I grew up in a little small town, Del Holler Lakes, where most people know it from, Celina, Tennessee. The black segment of Celina, Tennessee is Free Hills, Tennessee. And I loved it. I did because we grew our own vegetables. Well, my parents did, grew their own vegetables, raised their own livestock, chickens and what have you. And it's a good experience for anyone to, the reason why I left was because there was no job opportunities. When I got out of high school, there was no jobs.
Right. And did you move here from Tennessee at that point?
Yes, I moved here. Well, I got married. I graduated 1 week, got married, and moved here and stayed here probably half a year, and then moved to Indianapolis. And then my husband got drafted, and I moved back to Tennessee. And then in '69, when he got out of Vietnam, he was stationed at Fort Knox, so I moved back up here with a baby.
That was my dad.
Yes.
And then Riece, this is a question for you, but what do you call your grandmother?
Well, so when I was little, I called her Mama Ma because one more ma than Mama. I was like, "You're Mama Ma," but now I just call you Grandma. Yeah, but yeah, that's our little name, Mama
And
Ma.
then can you share a story your grandmother has told you about her life and what you learned from it?
You want me to tell them about how the time you stole that bus? This is my favorite story. Oh my God. Okay. So, she told me this story about how in high school, her and her two friends got to school and decided to steal a bus. And so they like the buses, they didn't have like it wasn't like they were locked or anything. Like the keys were just in them. And of course it's like a small town, so don't nobody lock up nothing. And anyway, so they like skip school, they get on this bus and they drive across state lines, right? And they go to like a juke joint, like and just hang out for the day. And then they like come back and park the bus and they go in and then they get on their buses like nothing ever happened, like nothing ever happened. And then she gets home and she walks in the door and her dad goes, how was school today? And she's like, oh, it was fine. And she's like walking back to her room and then she hears him scoot the chair back. And he goes, I said, how was school today, girl? And then she starts crying and she's like, I don't know, where did it go? And so they get in trouble like the next day, like they get called and you got paddled.
That was that Monday, yeah, because I was in school at the time. They could paddle you that Monday. And since my last name was Bartlett, my name got called first. And but when they called the next person, I'm like, oh man, they know.
So I think what I learned, first of all, I think it's like the most hilarious story. So I learned two things from that story. One, live life to the fullest. Like if you think you can steal a bus, you should try it out. Like it might all work out fine. And then the other thing I learned was not to lie. Like because he was obviously asking how was school today because he knew that she didn't go to school today. So I probably would have immediately been like, I don't know, I stole the bus, I didn't go to school today, like I'm sorry. Like but I've also never really been a liar. Like
No, because I don't deal with all that. If you want to get in trouble with me as a kid or grandkid or great grandkid, lie. And that's a no for my benefit. You know, I don't play that. Tell me the truth. You may or may not be in trouble.
Yeah.
But even if you are in trouble, it won't be as severe as if I found out you lied to me.
Yeah. She does not like lying.
Not at all.
Do you have a favorite memory you have with her, with your grandmother?
Oh, a favorite memory? I have a lot of memories. So one time, that story. So I had to interview in school. I had to interview her for a class project, and we talked about a lot of things. But like that story was like so funny to me that she did that. So I ended up writing my papers. We had to interview our grandparents, and then we had to write a paper. And I ended up writing my paper about how she stole this bus. And I won the contest. Like, so it was a contest. And so then we had a grandparents' day, and everybody like got to invite their grandparents, and we had like breakfast. And then those who won went up on stage and read their like paper, and so she got to be in the audience while I told everybody about how she stole a bus and got away with
it. Now, do you have a favorite memory with her? Her favorite story?
Yeah, I do. She, her and her siblings and her father were riding bicycles, and they were coming over to my house. And she always was like, I can't. Yes, you can. They left her. And when her daddy comes up, and I'm like, where's Sharice here? And he said, She's down there talking about she can't paddle up at here. I said, boy, you better go get my grandbaby. You better go get my grandbaby. So he goes down there and he walks with her back up. And she's crying. Mama, they left me. So what I do?
I don't remember.
I Nobody got a treat but her.
Aww.
Nobody got a
They
treat.
didn't deserve one.
They did not, because they shouldn't have left you, including your daddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about the hospital when they wouldn't give me a bottle.
When she was born. I was there, and of course, the first few hours, they don't want to, but she came out crying, screaming her head off. So I'm walking her and I'm petting her and stuff. And nurse came in. I told her, look, she's hungry. And she's like, well, grandmama, we don't. I said, look, she's hungry. You either get her a bottle, I'm going to put a pillow over her face. Because she's, my nerves.
I was going to die the same day I was born. Because I was hungry.
They went and brought her a bottle and I fed her.
That's a good one.
Yep.
So the next category is community and social identity. And the question is, what challenges did your community or family face when you were younger? And how did these challenges affect you personally?
What challenges? Weapons and drugs. And it has affected some of my family members. So therefore, if it affects me too, I think that the drug portion, this is me, the drug portion is a means of really getting rid of some of our race. We don't have ships and we don't have airplanes, and if we do, it's very few of us that do. We're not bringing these drugs in here. And those that are bringing them in are distributing them to our neighborhoods, and the young people, and some older people too, but the majority of them are young. They are dispensing it and killing off your own race. There's more than one way to kill off your race. Guns is one, drugs is the other. So yes, it has had an effect on our community.
And how do you think your community has changed over the years? It could be positive or negative.
How has it changed over the years? Most of the older segment of my community, and I'm talking about here in Louisville, they have died off. The younger generation has moved in, and they're not as responsible as the older generation as far as keeping up the property, being respectful. I raised my kids, grandkids, and great. You don't ever have to love me, but you're going to respect me. And it's just drastically changed especially over the last 10, 12 years. But the young people don't respect the older people. When I was growing up, if I seen an older person that needed help, I'd be like, Miss, do you need some help across the street? And she didn't have to worry about me snatching her purse or hitting her upside the head, because I would go help her across the street, go in, put her groceries up and everything. But that's not the trend now, and older people are scared to really, even if they offer, you'd be like, well, they offering, But that's how society and communities have changed, where you don't trust.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think that so Free Hill is very like country, like there's not barely any stoplights, like
No, if there was, I don't think it's gonna stop signs.
It's like, so, but do you think there's the same? Like, did older people not trust their younger people, or you think it's different because it's like a small town?
I think there's more trust in a small town than there is in a city.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because most of the people in a small town are descendants of, my mother, than my kids,
Mm-hmm.
generation after generation. But I think that's why. But there's drugs and stuff in Celina too.
Yeah, yeah. I just wonder if they trust more just because, like they all
I
know
would
each
think
other.
that it
Yeah.
does because, like I said, the generation after generation.
And they'd be like, I'll tell your mama.
Well, to share a story. I was going home, and about 12 miles from Celina, there's a stop sign, a little store right here, and I made a left going to Celina. But I didn't stop at the stop sign. I just slowed up, wasn't nothing coming. I looked, so I turned. Police pulls me over about a block away, and he's like, "You ran that stop sign back there." I said, "Well, slow down." He said, "Well, it doesn't say SLOW, it says STOP." He said, "Where you going?" I said, "Well, I'm going home." He said, "Well, who's your parents?" And I said, "Jesse and Pete Bartley." He said, "I'm going to tell Pete on you." And he did. But he didn't give me no ticket, but he told Daddy. Mm-hmm.
So can you both explain what community looks like for you today? Or it could be family, community, or family, and what makes it up. So if you go to church or any community resource that you utilize.
Women.
So, what community means to us? So, what now? So, if
Now,
you go to church or any other type of communities, any place you consider community or family.
yeah, I'm very big on church. I'm here by the grace of God. Okay, and we do a lot of stuff as far as helping the old, like I'm not the older generation,
Mm-hmm.
of helping the older generation of those who are not as mobile as I seem to be. And but it plays a great part in my life. I brought them up in the church, kids and grandkids. Now, do they go now? Nah.
It's Church of Christ. Yeah. Um, So I think my community is really like friends and family, and then my neighborhood. So we all live in the West End. Like our family, you can like walk to people's houses. Like it's always kind of been like that. It's interesting because like Free Hills is like a black like settlement of people, and when I was growing up, the West End was like that. Like you really didn't even see white people unless you went over to the Portland area. Like you like they're from over there, but now it's changed and it's different. But like I live in the West and I live off of Cecil, and on my block I've lived there since like 2017, and I'm probably the youngest person that lives on the block, but everybody that lives on the block is a homeowner, so we like look out for each other. My neighbor, literally, she's retired, her and her husband are retired, and he'll come out and be like, I'm gonna clean your gutters, and they grow stuff in the backyard, and like she gave me some tomatoes and all that. So like that, I feel like the West End is like a community. And also like we grew up with the kids of the people, like my dad and his brothers and all that grew up in the West End, and then we grow up with their kids, and then so it's like a lot, the house that she lives in, like her kids grew up in there, and then we grew up in there, so we know the neighbors, and they know us, and they see us, and they're like, "Oh, I ain't seen you since like it's like," and then they're like, "They got kids," and like my brother lives in the next block over, like his kids. My nephews will like walk across the alley to go to her house. Or we used to live off 38th and Bank, and we would like get out of the Boys and Girls Club and walk over there. So like it's like the same. So like they're growing up in the same kind of community family type environment that we grew up in. And then like for me being like young and single and not having kids, I have most of my girlfriends are also like young black single, don't have kids, so we hang out all the time, like let's go to happy hour, or we're gonna go on a trip next week, or we're gonna like, so we do a lot together. So I think that's like those are my communities. It's like the family, and then the actual neighborhood and the street that I'm on, and then my friends.
Thank you. So the next category is leadership and role models. And the question is, who were the leaders or role models you admired as a child?
that would have to be my parents. Uh, my mother instilled in us that in order to achieve in life, you have to work. And no matter if you are a street sweeper, you be the best street sweeper there is. My father, my father was undertaker, okay, and he was always said, you know, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're gonna be down here at the funeral. But they were my role models. They worked hard. They corrected hard. They loved us hard, and taught us the values of being of what we wanted to be when we grew up. Let me put it like that.
And then the next question is, as a grandmother, who do you see as current leaders in the community? And this could be local or national.
You know, I don't really remember um, much interaction with my grandmother because she died when I was young. But the only thing I can remember about her, she was a real fast walker. And I, of course, my me being a little something and her being an adult, I'm sure, you know, it's because her legs were so much longer than mine. But I remember trying to run and keep up with her. But as far as any, that's really what I remember about her being a fast walker.
Wait, what would you? Who do you see as current leaders in your community?
I would have to say Maddie Jones because she's up in age, but she's still um, relatively active activist. And she marched with Dr. King. She worked with Lewis Coleman. Uh, she's got a lot of respect in the neighborhood as somebody who doesn't back down, who will stick her neck out for what she believes is right.
And then this question is, what actions do you believe leaders should take to improve our community's well-being and unity?
What actions should
leaders should take for the well-being of the community?
You know, you can say that they um, pass laws to gun control, but you can't stop anybody with a law. Mm. That's not even feasible. And I know people say that it is, but it's not. Um, I would say education, um, and you know, I don't have a problem with if you're out here doing what you know you're not supposed to do. I don't have a problem with taking you to a morgue so you can see what the outcome might be. You know, a lot of them don't mind going to jail, but take them to a prison. Let them talk to some of the young people that are in there with real hard criminals. And I think that would have a lasting effect on them. Some of them now. Some of them are going to do what they're going to do when they're going to do it regardless.
Do you have any input on what you think leaders should do to help the community?
I think that we, this might be controversial, but I don't think we can rely on the leaders. I think sometimes that the leaders or the people that get put out in front get corrupted by the power. They become a part of the system, and once you're a part of the system, you can't change the system. Like, you're a part of it. I think that sometimes we get caught up in, like, these are the people we should be following, but really we should be looking into ourselves and saying, what we're the change, right? Like, the community is the change. Like, what choices can I make as a person to make things better? Not what does this person need to be telling me? Like, if it's not in you, like what you were saying, like, some people are gonna be bad. That's just in them. But there's enough of us to outnumber those people, and so we need to be looking into ourselves and saying, I want to be a better person. So I'm deciding that I'm not gonna do this, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna make these choices. I say we forget those leaders, like, we look into ourselves and we become the change that we wish to see in our communities.
And also, piggyback off of Sharicia's statement, parents need to do a better job. You know, parents want to be friends with their kids. Now, they're not my friends, you know, and they shouldn't be yours. You can't go out and parties, get high with your kids, and then expect them to respect you and to do what's supposed to be done. But it starts at home.
Yeah.
And if that is in place, you know, I'd be willing to tell you that none of my kids want me to see them, and they are way grown. None of them want me to see them doing what they're not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them disrespect me because they know that even though they grown and I'll smack them, I'll smack them in the mouth in a heartbeat about disrespect. But it starts with the parents. If you're letting this child rip and run and do and say and act any kind of way, then that's what they're going to do out in the street.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems in our schools. And then when they call the parents and my baby didn't do it. Yes, you did, you did. They just can't show you the film because there's other kids on that film. But yeah, they did it. And I was never one of those type parents. I listened to what the teacher said, even about the grandkids, and then I would go investigate. And if the kids was wrong, they got it dealt with. The grandkids was wrong, they got dealt with.
Yeah, I think so. Some of this is imparting values and like a sense of integrity into, because that I feel like we were imparted that from like like our grandparents and also our parents, but it's because like, okay, she raised my dad to have a sense of value and have a sense of integrity. So then when he had kids, he raised his kids to have a sense of value and integrity. And we, like, I think that the family structure, we don't spend like a lot of time with family. Like, I was literally just, got out of a workout and I was like, I'm gonna go to my dad's house and just was hanging out over there. But I don't think a lot of families like do that, like, and my uncle was over there. My dad's brother was just happened to be over there, or yeah. And a lot of our family, we share a location. I can look in the location and be like, oh, my brother's home. I'm going to go drop by his house. And again, we all live, like, we're not all spread out where it's like cumbersome. We all live there. And so we were all raised with the same values. We're around people that have those same values. And that's what keeps, people in check. So I think also families need to spend more time with each other and talking about the type of people that you're supposed to be, so that you can be like, nobody wants in your family wants to see you on the news for doing something you're not supposed to be doing, or like none of that. And so you would feel a sense of like shame, like that right. I'm carrying this name and everybody's gonna see that, So I think families too need to spend more time with each other and like impart those values into the kids. So like my nephews are going and spending time with their great grandmother and getting the same values that their dad got, that he got from his dad, that he got from her. So like just keeping that family circle intact too. Bring back family reunions. We go back. So in Free Hills, so the slave owner, she released all her slaves on the hill, so Free Hill. And then a lot of them also had the surname Hills. Their name was Virginia Hill. And so the second weekend of July, we go back for what's called homecoming. All the descendants from the hill come back for homecoming. And we have done that ever since I was born. So like it's a thing.
So before you was born.
Yeah, but I'm saying like right. It's a thing. Like I know that the second weekend of July I can't plan no trips. I can't do nothing. I can't. Oh yeah, it's your birthday. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be there because I have a family reunion every year to go back to, and that goes back to like the instilling the values and like being around family, because then you go and see where those values, like, oh, this is why integrity is important, like this is why you grew up where you're not supposed to lie and everybody's looking out for you and you are gonna behave or the police gonna call your daddy, like, you know what I mean? So bring back family reunions.
Yeah.
So the next category is challenges and vulnerabilities in the community. And you kind of touched on this a little bit, talking about gun violence and drugs. But what do you think are the most significant challenges facing our community? So it could be the Louisville community or...
That is okay. The gun violence and the drugs. If, it's horrible that you would shoot me because I like blue and you like red. And then they come up, well, they was disrespecting me. No, you're disrespecting your mother. I ain't gonna say your dad. I mean, your mother had you. You disrespecting your mother when you out here shooting somebody simply because they had on a different color than what you approve of. It's and it's getting worse instead of getting better. That's what bothers me. Is that you got an 8-year old walking around with a gun. Where did you get a gun at 8 years old? You know, I was 28 when I got my first gun. But where'd you get one at 8? And why does your parents not know that you have this gun? When you hear them say, well, I don't want to invade their privacy. They don't have no privacy in my house. It's my house. It's your home as long as you allow it to be. But when my kids were home, they never knew when I was going to come up and flip the mattresses off the bed, go through their closet, go through the drawers and stuff. That's what I did as a mother. And to say that, oh, I'm not going in your room because I don't want to invade your privacy. You ain't got no privacy. No, got none.
She'll come in your house. She will, really. She'll walk in your house.
I will.
I think, too, a lack of critical thinking. Like, I think that kids nowadays, they're like microwave kids. Like, they can just Google something, and if they want to know something, they just Google it, and it pops up, and whatever the internet tells them it is, that's what it is. Like, people don't fact check or, like, go and consider the source. Like, I don't know if they're not teaching that in school no more, but like you gotta consider the source. Like, you can't just take people's word. I think that we like raised a generation of kids that have a lot of groupthink, and that a part of that is social media and following and not having their own mind or being able to critically think or be independent, and not follow the crowd. Like, right. You always said that, like, it's okay if you stand out, if you're doing what's right. Like, right. So what, they don't like you. If you're doing what's right and you know what's right, you continue to do it. Then you stand over there alone, and that's fine. Like, everybody don't have to like you, and I don't think that we are giving those kids those skills anymore.
And then I taught them too, you don't be a follower, you be the leader. Mm-hmm. And if you leading and you end up in trouble, I know that you led yourself there, that you didn't follow Joe, Jane, or Mary into trouble. Always be the leader. Don't be a follower.
And have your own mind. Always have your own mind.
Make up your own mind about, regardless of what it is, and whether you're right or you're wrong. Know that the consequences is because you made that choice, not you didn't follow someone into that.
So the next category is importance of voting and voting rights.
So you like this one.
Yes. So how has your understanding of voting and its importance evolved over your lifetime?
It goes back generations. Without those forefathers that fought, died, and was killed because they wanted to voice their opinion with the legal right to vote. You know, it took years in order for women to vote, and then another years before blacks could vote. And then we voted, our vote was half of a vote. You know, so me and you together would be one. Mm-hmm. So, and it aggravates me that I hear these young people say, and older people too, oh, my vote don't count. Well, no, it don't, because you don't cast it. That's the only way it can count. But there has been too much suffering and too many lives given in order for us to have this right. I don't care what election it is. If I was on the cane, the last one, but I caned on in there and voted, you know. And that's what I think that we should do. Because, and not only for like the precedent stuff, the laws and stuff are made at a lower level. The president does not make these laws. The lower level, you need to be aware of who you're putting in office. Research them, you know, because you voting for Bo Diddy don't mean I'm going to vote for Bo Diddy. You know?
Bo Diddy's a great candidate.
Yeah, right. But do research. if you have something that's real important to you, try to get somebody in office that can make that happen and has the same ideals that you have.
Do you have any input?
I agree with that. I think that we don't educate ourselves on that. It goes back to the thinking for yourself or like having critical thinking. Because, I mean, I've always voted. I remember when I turned 18, my dad took me to the polls, and she would work the polls and drive people to the polls. And you got to tell them about Obama when Obama was being elected. But I think too, people don't, they do what you just said. They're like, well, you know, black people vote Democrat, so I'm gonna vote Democrat. But there's a lot of people running Democrat. Which Democrat are you gonna vote? Like, you need to like educate yourself and don't just believe. Well, they say, you know, they stood up at a podium and they said they were gonna do this. Okay, well, do they have a track record of doing that? Have they done that in the past? Like, how have they voted before? What have they said before? Like, not just taking people at their word. You know, they can say, I freed 100 slaves. Well, did you? Like, let me go check. Actually, you didn't. Like, you actually are advocating to have 100 slaves. Like that,
Right,
but you
right.
said it, and so people just believe. Well, he said it, so he did it. No, like, go think for yourself. Go find the information and make a decision from there. Like, people need to start really thinking for themselves and critically thinking and not relying on social media or Google or TikTok or whatever to make their decisions for them.
That's the only way this nation is going to change. Um, they need to put God back in this, you know, because He's a God that if you don't want me, I'm not going to force myself on you. And when President Obama, the first time he ran, me and
Yeah, tell them.
we went to Indianapolis, Cincinnati, campaigning for him. And was in Cincinnati. It was raining, and he came on out on the stage and did his thing. But I got to touch him. I ain't washed my hand all day. I didn't.
Mind you, there was a picture of him in the house. He ain't our family.
It's still a picture of him in the house.
We don't know this man. That was all over the place.
Yeah,
Right?
because I liked what he stood for. I liked his program, and he was very, very knowledgeable about what was going on and what his aspects was to change it. And me personally, I think he did a heck of a job as a president. We'll never have another one that great. Had no scandals. His wife didn't have none. His kids didn't have none. And we haven't had a president that was scandalous except him.
Did you think there would be a black president in your lifetime?
Did I really? No, I did not. And that was one of the reasons that your grandmother was out there driving here, driving there.
Oh, that's one of the reasons.
Yeah,
Mm.
it was because I
You
wanted.
love that
I,
thing.
I do. I wanted a black president. So we was knocking on strangers' doors.
Had all the T-shirts.
Yeah.
All the gear.
Passing out flyers and stuff.
Yeah.
Please go vote because, to be honest with you, the young people is who put President Obama in office.
That's
because
true.
they were working with us. They were black, white, Hispanic, Indian. They was all in that office working with us.
So he was really the first social media I was in college. I was a sophomore in 2008, and so I remember like he was the first one that I saw like people my age get excited about like voting. Like, you know, like I was voting, but everybody wasn't involved in politics like that, like growing up. Like you didn't hear like high school kids and college kids like talking about stuff like that, you know, unless maybe you were like a political science major, like because I mean, obviously, but like I was a health major, but it was like everybody was talking about this guy and like, but it was really big. And I remember when he was elected that night, like I went to Western Kentucky University and everybody just like spilled out onto the campus and it was like this big celebration. Like I've never seen like people my age even talk about voting or watch anything about politics. We were watching debates, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like I felt like it made a culture because people my age, like I'm about to be 35, we're into it. Like we are watching things and we are, you know, we watch the debates and we are like politically knowledgeable because we were like, we made a difference. We actually got out there and we voted and we put someone in office and we got to see this process through. And I hope that the younger generation, like, they can get it behind somebody like that too and
I
get
do
that.
too. And this may not be appropriate, but with Harris running for, I don't think this country is ready for a woman president, especially a black one. Now, I'm going to support her, and I'm not supporting her strictly because she's black. I'm supporting her because she's married to a white guy. But, and that has,
That's not why you're supporting her.
no, I'm supporting her because of the values that she has
Yeah.
said that she believes in and that she would institute.
Mm-hmm.
And preferably she'll get in.
Yeah.
And preferably she'll have Riece as her VP.
No, don't take Andy. Don't take Papa Andy from us. We need Papa Andy.
Yeah, Riece is my man.
I love him too. We need him here.
Yeah, well,
we need him.
He could make a bigger difference in Washington.
I love Andy. Andy, if you're watching, I love you.
Well, I told him that when Daryl Owens died, he was one of the speakers at his funeral. And I waited when it was over and stuff. I went up and told him, I said, look, I told him who I was. I said, I admire what you're doing. I pray that you continue to be the governor that you've been. I told him, I said, and these fools talking about you because of how you conducted. He did a wonderful job during COVID. You know,
he was the only thing consistent in my life.
He was. He did a wonderful job during COVID. You know, and they talk about where he shut the church down, where he was trying to save your life. Mm-hmm. You know, I had no negative nothing about what he did during that time frame. I really didn't. And I told him, and I said, I just want you to know. And he hugged me. He said, I appreciate you telling me that. I said, well, it's the truth.
Andy, I wouldn't have washed my body for a week.
Oh, Lord.
You did?
I didn't wash my hand. I touched
I liked him since he was an attorney general. He was really hard on human trafficking. Mm-hmm. And that was an issue that people probably didn't even realize we had in Kentucky, but he was against it. And I went to a conference and he was the speaker because he was really hard on that. He's also really big on consumers' rights. So like our rights as consumers. Right. And as an attorney general, he was. But yeah, I liked how he handled. I think he handled it better than most of the governors in the U.S. But
he did.
I don't want to see him go.
So this is the last category, and it's wisdom, hopes, and future aspirations. And the question is, reflecting on your life, what is one piece of advice you wish you had known when you were younger?
One piece of advice I wish I had known when I was growing up. Well, one of the things that I wish I had known was that people don't always present themselves as to who they really are. You know, you can be one way with me, another way with you, and that's not your true self. And as I've grown and matured, I'm able to discern a whole lot about a person with just talking to them, whereas when I was growing up, I couldn't. That makes sense?
Like, you can tell if they're not being genuine?
You can tell they're not being genuine. I can tell that sometimes, you know, you can tell when people just don't like you just because they don't like the way you look. They don't like the way you wear your hair, what you got on. You've done nothing to them. And they try real hard to to act like they do like you. No, it's okay for you not to like me. I got people I don't like. It's just how you treat me. You know, because you don't like me, don't mean that I'm going to allow you to treat me in a kind of way. We can speak and you go your way and I go mine. And life goes on.
And then what are your hopes and dreams for your grandchildren and their future?
My hopes and dreams for my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, is that they, first of all, put God first in their life, that they work hard to obtain whatever it is that they want to do in life. They get an education, and that they're self sufficient, they can take care of themselves. You don't need to marry a man to have somebody take care of you. You can take care of yourself, vice versa. Um, Devin and Devon don't need to grow up thinking they need to what? Learn to cook, learn to clean, and you be self sufficient on your own.
Devin is learning to cook. He's
Huh?
in cooking.
That's what he told me.
Yeah, he's in the cooking. Devin and Devon are my nephews and my brother's kids. He's in a after school cooking thing, and Drayshawn was like, he's all with all these girls. I'm like, that's exactly where he need to be. They gonna be all over him. You know how to talk to women and you can cook. Like,
he told me, Gigi, I fix it. I told myself, look, sit down. Fix it at your mom and daddy's. Gigi will fix it over here. So,
he likes cooking.
He does. He was in that. When it clicks, it's getting ready to light. Yes, but I don't want you playing with my stove. If you want to actually cook it, I'll turn the stove on, I'll season it, and then you can tend to it.
He's gonna be a chef.
Mm-hmm.
Reece, this is a question for you. What are your dreams for yourself, and what do you hope to accomplish as you grow older?
Oh, wow. Oh, dreams. I hope to. I feel like I've accomplished a lot of things already.
Yes, you have.
Trying to think of something new. I really just want to continue to choose me and choose stay true to myself and the things that I want to do without having to deal with the societal pressures of what I should do or what I need to do, or you're this age so you should have been doing this, and the judgments on that. But I think I've done a pretty good job of no, this is what, discerning, this is what I like, this is what I want. I don't care what other people say about it. I'm gonna do this. So I want to continue that. Really, my aspirations are to just travel the world and see all the places that I want to see.
Do solo trips. Have me praying all the time, Lord, please take care of me.
I take a lot of trips. So I want to move my life in a direction where I'm able to do that more often, and it brings me a lot of joy, and I'm really happy, and I get to see the world, and I get to see that it's so much bigger than me. I always come back with such perspective about this world is so much bigger than me. I always have these real serendipitous experiences that are the universe, and God always puts you in the places you're supposed to be put in. I'm here, for a reason, and I always come back with that when I travel. So I want to move my life in a direction where I can do that more often, but still stay connected.
Right, and still listen. You don't have to do what I tell you to do, but listen to what I tell you, and discern from that, because I would never tell you nothing I thought was wrong or that would hurt you. It's like she's got weeds growing up around her house.
Who gets to determine what's a weed and what's a flower? Who gets to say that? Who
got weeds growing, and I'm gonna get that morning glory for you.
Oh,
too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But she's got weeds growing up around her house, and she's happy about it. So.
Who gets to decide what's a weed and what's a flower?
Reece, this is another question for you. It says, what's something about your grandmother that you admire the most?
Oh, so this is ever since I was little. So my grandma was the first woman that I could identify that was you don't have to be pretty, prissy. Well, you could be both, right? You could be pretty and you can get your hair done and get your nails done and get all cute and dress up and all that, but you can also go out in the yard and pull weeds and work and pull your hair back and change the oil. And like, it was the first like woman I can identify that what I was really big on Barbie, right? Like when I was little, I loved everything Barbie. And Barbie wasn't that. Like Barbie was always put together, hair always good. Like if your Barbie's hair wasn't good, you have to toss it out. Like Barbie don't do that. So she was like really the first woman that was like, you don't have to just, and I am a very like feminine, like she'll tell you, I'm very like love all the like girl stuff, like all that. But that don't have to just be all that you are. You can also change a tire. You can also work in the yard, get sweaty, get your hands dirty. Like you can wring a chicken's neck. Like you don't have to just be, and then you can go like, she always would get her hair done. She'd go to the beauty shop and get her hair done, get her nails done and all that. Like she could be both. And so that's something I think I took too. Is like, yes, I can love all the glitter and all the pink and get my nails done and get my hair done and all that stuff, but I can also go out and work and do what people would say is man stuff or masculine stuff. Like no, you go out and you put in the work like everybody else.
Right, right. I used to have them out in the yard, all of them, because I like working in the yard, and I still do. I just can't do it. But I'd be out there weeding, and I got them over pulling weeds out of my flowers. And when Drayshawn and them got old enough, they mowing the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And
She would mow the yard.
yeah, but that's because I think if you're well-rounded, you can fit in anywhere. Regardless, it's not where you live anyway, it's how you live. And, you can live in a shack as long as you maintain it and keep fine. You can live in a mansion, but if you live in a mansion and you don't maintain it, then what's the purpose? Mansion's gonna fall down.
But also then have a like whole room full of shoes. You go up the stairs and high heels. Like, why do you have all these high heel shoes? She loves shoes.
Yeah,
right?
I used, I've still got quite a few, but when I started having health issues, I can't wear the heels no more. So I got rid of them.
But just like the duality, right? And then my grandfather has a tow truck and works on cars, and they had a car lot. And so also then I'm getting
Business
up under,
person.
yeah, this person, but like getting up under the car and like
Right.
getting your hands,
Cleaning them out and
helping with the
changing
tow
oil.
truck, like
Matter of
so.
fact, I went and towed a car the other day because he wasn't feeling good.
See? Like, so it's like you can be a woman, you can be all things as a woman. A woman's not just like this one thing.
And don't allow anyone to label you as one thing.
Yeah.
Women are very versatile, and we can do whatever we set our mind to do. We just have to put forth the effort
We can do everything they can do bleeding.
and do it better.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is the last question I have, and it is looking back, what are you most proud of in your life?
Looking back, what am I most proud of? My children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. Um, what I'm not proud of.
What? That wasn't the question.
That wasn't the question, was it? But that's what I'm most proud of. It's my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and that I feel like I have lived a life that my parents instilled in me and would be very proud of me if they were still here.
What are you not proud of? What were you gonna say?
What I'm not, because I had a full scholarship to Tennessee University, and I turned it down and got married, and then I ended up going back to college later on in life and getting a degree. But I should have went on and got my degree. It was free.
Really?
Yeah.
But then, don't you think things would have been different?
And probably would have. I wouldn't have had as many years with Larry as I did have. But
You probably wouldn't have had kids when you had kids.
I wouldn't have. I'd been in college.
But then I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, well, I would have had kids. I just wouldn't have them at
But
that age.
you know, I might not have been made yet.
Well, that's true too. That is true too. But that I do. That was one of the things that I did regret that I didn't take it. But God blessed me. I went on, got married, had kids, went back to school, got my degree, and here I am.
That's all I have. But if you have questions that you want to ask, you can do that too. Because I'll edit this and everything. And
I get to ask.
I get to ask you too. Remember that.
What are you most proud of in my life?
In your life, that you have turned out to be a respectable young lady, that you work hard for Sharecia, and that you self-sufficient. You know, you own your own home, you own your car, you got your degree, you working, and you're working on your other degree. Proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to ask me a question?
I do. When you gonna get rid of them weeds?
I'm not. I'm not doing that.
She lived in Jacksonville, Florida. She called me and she said, Grandma, I want to come home. She said, but I want to stay with you. Because her dad had tore her room out when she... So I said, that's fine, baby. And she came in 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
I drove 12 hours straight.
With a U-Haul that she had never driven.
A hitch. I put a hitch on my 1999 Chevy Lumina, and I took my dog, and I put all my stuff in that U-Haul, and I drove through the night.
Doorbell rang. I go, and she's got to. I said, "Oh shoot, Riece, I forgot you had that much." And she said, "I said, why you say?" She said, "Well, you didn't say nothing. I wasn't gonna say nothing." Yes. But she still got that butt too. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't like animals. But what, 2 years ago?
What?
She tells me I got a cat. I said, well, Sharecia, if you didn't want me coming over, all you had to do was tell me. You didn't have to get a cat. Because you know I hate cats. So was that why you got the cat?
Is that your question?
Yes.
No, that is not why I got the cat. And I put the cat up whenever you...
Yeah, but the cat done been all over everything.
No, that's not why I got the cat.
Okay.
I want you and the cat to get along and
no, me and the cat ain't gonna never
a relationship, because the cat and the dog are the closest to great grandchildren you're gonna get from me.
No, I don't claim critters as grandkids. So no, we don't do that one. But now me and the cat will never get along.
I want y'all to get along.
That's like Lori. She's got 2 black cats. I told her, I said, those are witches' cats. She said, I told her, I said, well, you don't have to worry about me coming to your house.
She can put them away.
Yeah, they may get out. That's why when I come to your house and you say, and I'm looking, I'm like, okay. Then I hear the scratching, and I'm like, okay, gotta go. Okay.
Well, thank you for doing the interview.
Well, you're more than welcome, sweetheart. I love you. Anything legal, I'll do for you.
Not the illegal stuff.
Not the illegal, legal.
I love you too.